And developing now in Texas, bond has been set at $1 million each for the 170 bikers.
The violent Bandidos have been a thorn in the side of U.S. law enforcement since the 1960s. But some outlaw motorcycle clubs have proved to be more dangerous than others when it comes to rivalry with the Bandidos. Get ready to find out the top 5 enemies of the notorious biker club. 1%er motorcycle clubs are infamous for their litany of criminal activities, ranging from drug trafficking to contract killing and petty theft. The nickname 1%er Motorcycle Club stuck when the American Motorcyclist Association said that 99% of motorcyclists were law-abiding. And since outlaw clubs have little regard for the law, the name made sense. The notorious reputation of motorcycle clubs has inspired movie writers and book authors to create mythologized scripts like the TV show Sons of Anarchy and the best-selling book Hell's Angels. However, one name that keeps topping the charts for the most brutal organizations is the Bandidos, a 1%er club that has made deadly enemies in its hunger for power and territory. Are you ready to discover which 5 motorcycle clubs the Bandidos fear as enemies? Number 5, the Mongols. The Mongols are one of America's oldest and most popular biker gangs. Although the Mongols Motorcycle Club started as a mainstream club, it became one of the most controversial motorcycle communities in less than 15 years. How do you think they earned such an infamous reputation? The club members have a long history of illegal drug trade, money laundering, robbery, extortion, and murder. The club's violent front made it one of the most feared clubs in the US, and at one point, it had as many as 270 warrants issued against them at once. The Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives call the Mongols the most violent motorcycle club. Now, if you combine that with their hatred for any club that threatens to capture their territory, you are left with violent incidents across the country, resulting in several dead and others injured. The rivalry between the Mongols and the Bandidos stems from their hunger for territory, and every time either tries to establish a new chapter in an area already under the other's influence, they face massive backlash and resistance. The turf war between the Mongols and Bandidos has increased the threat to the public, prompting investigations and arrests nationwide. But despite apprehensions, the tension within the two rival gangs is nowhere near its end. The next biker club has broken all records of decency and emerged as one of the most dangerous Bandidos' enemies. Number 4, the Rebels. The Rebels and the Bandidos have always been at each other's necks ever since the former club was founded in Brisbane, Australia, in 1969. The Rebels are the largest outlaw motorcycle club in Australia and one of the fastest-growing clubs in the US. The rivalry between the Bandidos and the Rebels comes as no surprise, as the two are constantly in the throes of establishing authority over their dominion. In 1997, 3 Bandidos members, including the Bandidos' national president and sergeant-at-arms, were shot dead in the Black Market nightclub in Sydney. The 2 men charged with the murders had strong ties with the Rebels were sentenced to 28 years in jail. Later, in 2008, a Bandidos member, Ross Brand, was killed in a drive-by shooting, and the culprit was none other than a Rebels member. One event led to another, and the fights between the motorcycle gangs escalated over time, leaving many injured or dead. The communities that have to bear the brunt of the Bandidos and Rebels conflict have had enough and want the bloodshed to stop, but the end seems nowhere in sight. Are you ready to find out the next ruthless Bandidos enemy? Number 3, the Vagos. The Vagos was founded in 1965 on the streets of California, and as the club expanded its chapters across the US, they found themselves at opposite ends with the Bandidos. The Vagos have truly earned the 1%er title with their frequent run-ins with the authorities over criminal offenses, such as drug trafficking, assault, and violent rivalry with other outlaw biker gangs. In 2014, the FBI listed the Vagos as one of the largest outlaw motorcycle groups in Western America, with 600 members in 24 chapters throughout America, which has greatly helped establish the club's notoriety and authority. How do you think the Bandidos feel about the Vagos making it into the FBI's list? In August 2017, Bandidos and the Vagos battled for territory in the tourist-friendly Santa Fe. The otherwise peaceful community witnessed 2 Vagos members launch a drive-by attack on the house of a Bandidos member, firing more than 20 rounds at the home from a pickup truck. One of the shooters was also wounded in the arm during the incident, although it's unclear who fired the shot. He was taken to Christus St. Vincent Regional Medical Center, where a temporary lockdown was ordered, as Vagos members crowded the emergency room to visit him. There have been many similar incidents, implicating members of both motorcycle clubs, and while the police are trying their best to ensure security, the rival gangs are not willing to back down, come what may. Brace yourself, because the next Bandidos rival club is the most brutal of them all. Can you guess who that might be? Number 2. The Cossacks. The club that Bandidos members hate is the Cossacks. Formed in 1969, the club has been around for 5 decades and has carved its name as one of the most controversial biker gangs in the US. The Cossacks consider themselves one big family, which is prominent in their body language. If anyone encounters trouble, they all gang up in their support. According to one Cossacks member, "If you're a Cossack and your house burns down, we're going to put a roof over your head and clothes on your back that night." And that's what it's been about forever. Now you can imagine how the club members would react if the Bandidos tried to mess with any of them. Interestingly, the Texas Cossacks were known as highly educated, capitalistic, and entrepreneurial. They were rated as affluent elitists, but all that changed after the Waco incident brought the biker club face to face with law enforcement authorities. In fact, according to a GQ interview, the Bandidos initiated the Waco conflict to besmirch the Cossacks' name. Why is the Waco case so important? The details will leave you shocked. Here's how the incident unfolded. 3 months before the Waco brawl, the Texas Department of Public Safety issued an internal warning that the Bandidos were displeased with the Cossacks, and they feared the soaring high tensions between the two gangs would blow up at any time. And that's exactly what happened. Things completely and literally blew up. Moments after the Bandidos arrived at Twin Peaks, a fistfight broke out, followed by gunfire. The authorities described the aftermath as something out of a video game, with blood everywhere and guns, knives, batons, and brass knuckles scattered on the floor. The Waco incident ended with 9 dead, 20 wounded, and 177 bikers arrested. The event was described as what appears to be the largest roundup and mass arrest of bikers in recent American history. Coming up next is an outlaw motorcycle club that is always ready for a vicious fight with the Bandidos. Number 1. Hells Angels. Can a list of Bandidos' enemies ever be complete without the Hells Angels? The Hells Angels are the most popularly known motorcycle club and are incorporated in the US and Canada. According to authorities, Hells Angels from California is the most dangerous outlaw motorcycle gang in the US, which places it in an aggressive position with the Bandidos, the second most dangerous club. Apart from the club's legal businesses, it has 2,500 hardcore members involved in every type of criminal pursuit, from wide-scale drug dealing to racketeering. Hells Angels and Bandidos are easily recognizable by their black jackets and are by far the most aggressive, secretive, and organized gangs in the world. They are also rivals fighting for territories. Despite the Hells Angels' reputation for notoriety, the Bandidos have superseded the former globally, opening more than 50 chapters in Europe. The long-running feud between two of the most dangerous gangs in the world has resulted in violence and bloodshed on both sides, but none of them are willing to back down from this fight for dominance. There have been countless incidents of harassment, assault, and murder, and the vicious cycle has continued as each struggle to overcome the other and establish their authority in the area. Law enforcing authorities are constantly arresting and charging members of both gangs for their crimes against one another, but the rift between the two top motorcycle gangs is only increasing with time. Do you think there can ever be an end to these outlaw club territorial rivalries? Let us know in the comments. That's all for today, folks. Remember to like the video, subscribe to our channel, and press the notification bell for more updates. Until next time, stay curious.